Hello again everyone. Let's get straight into it on this video. Just like it was for me, I walked through a gap in the trees and the bushes and there was this rabbit sat out there, so I dropped all my gear on the floor, knelt down, fired up the Pulsar C50 scope and hoped he'd stay there long enough for me to take a shot. Now this was quite a small young rabbit, and as they do, they have a lot of movement. I don't know, they seem to have a lot of energy, a lot of nerves going on and so on, so he kicked around for a little while, but it was instant lights out for him. So eventually he runs out of nerves, and I'll show you that shot closer up and slowed down. Okay, so here I am. Now I'd already planned to shoot this area of the golf course basically, and my plan was to set up here against the hedge line in the longer grass and just sit down as I normally do. Quite happy to sit there and enjoy the surroundings, the last sort of hour or so of daylight. But when I got here, we've had a week of sort of sun and rain, and the grass is shot up, but worse than that, it's absolutely full of stinging nettles. So I couldn't get anywhere near the hedge line. So I just sat myself at the edge of the grass, as you can see, and the nettles there. So not the best of camouflage, etc. But like I say, I'm more than happy just to sit out there and enjoy my surroundings and see how things go. So I just put my head sort of camo on. It's a nice bit of gear this, it's a good bit of netting. But more importantly than that, as opposed to like the elasticated sort of band that you put around your neck and put over your sort of mouth and nose, this has a lot of ventilation, so when you're looking through the scope or through your binoculars or thermal, it doesn't seem to steam up the lens out, so that's sort of a really good point. And I think the camo side of it is probably better as well. But the worst point totally from it is that it hangs right down and you can't pull it down over your chin, and so it's really hard for me to drink my coffee with that on, but I have to put up with that. So usual gear again for me that you'll all be familiar with if you subscribe to my channel. If you're not, please consider subscribing to have a look at my other videos and so on. But what I have done with this bit of kit today is I've put the Pulsar Digex C50 scope on top of the impact, and that's really good because it allows you to put different ranges onto this one profile. And I've already got the 17 HMR profiled on it, and now I've profiled this, but it allows you to put 5 different range profiles for each rifle profile, if that makes sense. So this is my first outing with the C50 on top of the FX Impact M3. It's in .25, 700mm barrel, and it's full power UK FAC. I'm shooting H&N slugs, 34 grain slugs. I've retuned it for, they seem to be going quite well, and it's producing, I think it was 64 foot-pounds of energy, firing them at about 980, 985 feet per second. And it does seem to be working quite well, but this is my first outing with all that combination and those slugs tuned to that. So there you go, get the coffee out, ready, sit back and enjoy the evening. I've already range-finded the various spots and distances that you might have noticed me do a little bit earlier. In a second I'll get my thermal out and just give it one last look, but that's me set up ready for the evening, and let's see how it goes. So one last look with the thermal, and then it'll be on with the action. Now, all this video that you're watching here is from my very cheap little action camera that does have like a remote, short range remote from it, so it's really quite good, and it's just on a rickety little extendable bipod. But I started to make this little bit of video footage here because if you look at the fairway right in the centre and to my right hand side, there is actually a muntjac deer just walking around the grass enjoying himself, and there's actually a pair out there. One went straight through the hedge on my right hand side, a few minutes followed by this one, and this is what 50% of this is all about for me. I can just sit there and enjoy the outdoors, enjoy nature, and it's so nice just to get out from the urban life, if you understand what I mean. But as I look back to my far left hand side now, I see a bit of movement, and sure enough, another small rabbit comes out. Again, this is quite a small rabbit, one of this year's young I would guess, and so there's a fair bit of movement from him as all his nerves kind of dissipate away out of his body. But another good shot, again at about 55 to 60 yards, and you can see that the main picture, the action camera, is starting to struggle with the light a little, but I'm just playing with the Digex C50, putting it from moon mode to see if I needed it, but it still was working perfectly well in its normal sunlight mode there. Okay, so just as I check the surroundings again and so on here for anything else, I'll show you a close-up and slowed up version of that last shot as well. Now here's another deer that I saw. Now this deer stayed around for ages, and I mean ages, half an hour or more, and I started doing this bit of filming just to show this is in its colour mode with the moonlight function, whatever you want to call it, on the Digex C50, and it really is quite dark at the moment, and it's amazing how good a colour picture you can still get out of this. as you'll see as I switch to black and white now and put the IR torch on. Focus it in, and then you'll appreciate with this black and white IR night vision picture how good the colour picture was, because you can see it's more or less darkness out there now. Now, like I say, this deer, it stayed around for ages and it started barking away, making hell of a noise. You can't believe the screechy sort of noise these things make. And eventually I had to fire a shot high up, way to the side of it, just to scare it off. I think it knew I was there or something was there, and maybe it started calling, warning calling or something, I don't know, but it was making hell of a noise. So eventually I scared it off, but nothing else came out here, and it did in fact start to drizzle, as you see in the next footage. So I just stood up and I took for a very quick walk around the corner of the golf course, where I know I see a few rabbits as well. So I saw these two rabbits. They were way off, 150 meters, yards or so away to my right hand side, right in the middle of the sort of fairway and so on. So I was trying to stalk up to them, and eventually I think they noticed something was coming and made a run for it. And you can see I've changed my zeroing distance now to 70 yards, which I guess they were at. So I stopped at this point before I spooked them off totally, and basically sat down on my backside. I rested the rifle as best I could on my knees and settled down to take a shot. So first shot was good shot, straight down, and the second one runs off. And he starts having a wobble around. I wondered whether he had a ricochet. And I take a second shot, and I'm gathering that's a miss, although it sounded quite a good shot. And I keep my eye on him, and there you go. Definitely got him that one. So the first rabbit I paced out definitely was about 75 yards, and this second rabbit, he ran off a bit, so I think he was probably around 80-85 yards away. So I'm quite happy with these H&N 34 grain slugs. I have retuned the rifle a little bit for them, and seem to be working out okay at the moment. So I think I'll keep using this and see how it goes. So it was just a quick scan around the area, nothing else there. But on the way back I stumbled across this little fella. Again, really nice to see him. See very few hedgehogs nowadays compared to when I was a youngster, and you used to see them all the time, sort of ran over in the road and so on. But I think this one's pushing his luck, because there's quite a few foxes and badgers around this golf course. But really nice to see a nice hedgehog. Like I say, you really don't see very many of them at all nowadays. Good luck to him. So it's pick-up time. This is the two rabbits that I shot at the night time, that I just shot last. Pictures of them with the FX M3. And then here's a couple of pictures of the small younger rabbits that I shot in the daytime. And I'll leave you with a few pictures of the equipment. All the descriptions will be below. Please like the video, and consider subscribing to the channel if you like this sort of videos. Thanks very much, keep safe, and hopefully I'll get some more videos out soon. Cheers for now.